I'm out here seeing things at Copp's Hill Burying Ground, one of the oldest cemeteries in Boston, if not the country. This is actually my first time here. Isaac Dupee, heir to Goodridge. Not sure what that's about, but as you can see, these stones are old. You can see the Bunker Hill Monument in the distance. So we're in the north end of Boston, kind of known for being an Italian section. A lot of great restaurants here, beautiful old brick, turn of the century, late 1800 houses. And it's also right next to the Old North Church. Let's just check out, there's a lot of signage in here. This is a highly visited historical place. The G family tomb, builder of the USS Constitution, Edmund Hart. The Seaman's tomb, talking about that. But just to show you here, the Old North Church, where Paul Revere did his midnight ride, is just kind of at the end of the street there. And we've got, I don't know if this is an older section or what, but it looks like it because it's a bit rough. But I guess we'll find out. Maybe we'll start down there since there's nobody here. We can check this out. But I expect to see a lot of old founders of Boston here from the late 1600s, early 1700s. That kind of stuff. You get a good view of the steeple of the Old North Church behind this building. Maybe it's washed out in the sky, but in any case, it's an unremarkable white wooden church common in New England. It's more just because of its association. So let's see who we got here. I'm thinking Revolutionary War soldiers, maybe. Daniel Dickinson's tomb, 1828. Actually, as I'm looking around, there's a lot of blanks here. A lot of blank stones. They're worn with time, or what's going on? I thought I'd see all the writing on this side, but I don't. I'm not sure what's going on here with the blankness. Maybe it's mentioned somewhere. So that's an interesting start. A bunch of blank stones. I know there was something. Okay, I guess the writing was on this side. It's just so faint. So worn. 1817, death date on there, but somebody from Ireland. Let's see what we got here so we can find one. Anna Kingman, John Kingman, 1889. So far nothing too old as it goes. I've encountered older stones, of course, down in Providence, but maybe these ones that are really worn are super old. That one looks like, yeah, 1879. I'm not sure why these are so rough looking. Considering their age, they've all got a kind of a, I don't know what you call it, even lichen. I guess it is lichen, but it almost looks like chipped cement. I couldn't even do a proper rubbing over here. These stones are so textured. What have we got here? Rachel Newcomb. I don't know if that, 1814, age 48. Oh, 20, 6th Regiment. Wife of Thomas Newcomb. 1814. So, yeah, I mean, we're talking folks from the 1700s here. And just a lot of hard to read stones. Back to the main part. It's a nice crisp spring day, late April. A lot of people here. And again, I'm seeing all blankness on this side, so let's venture to the other side and see what we can see. These daffodils actually look really cool here amidst all these stones. Boston Tea Party participant Josiah Snelling. Whole section of Snellings. So Boston Tea Party, of course, 1775, I believe. This person died in 1750. Hard to read. Here's a couple of great ones here with the skulls. John Milk, 1756. Nathaniel Adams, 1745. William, son to William and Abigail, merchant, age 3 years, 1721. It's a children's grave, 1721. Elizabeth and Thomas Brown, 1756. Elizabeth Adams. Hard to find a year on that one. Elizabeth Ferber, 1790. I'm getting somewhere. Sacred to the memory of Jabez and Lydia Sweet, 1800, 1802, 1805. Thomas Fisher, 1805. Beautiful patina here on this one. This is kind of dark stone. John Valley, something like that. 1790. Let's come down here to a somewhat less visited section. You can see why. Tough to read. Here lies the body. They all start with that. Marcia, maybe? Wife of William Davis. 1686. Okay, that's proper. 30 years old, so they were born in 1656. There's a 1678 next to it. Hard to read. Here we have a little round plaque. Those are helpful. Boston Tea Party. Okay, 1773. Marston's Tomb. Marston. John Marston from Red Dead Redemption. I wonder if that's where they got that name. You know, they do this historical research. They just find a random person from an historic event and co-opt the name. 1794. Nice skull on that one. Another winged skull. Hard to read. Interesting writing here. Winged skull. Edward Grant. 16, maybe 78, likely. 1778, Abigail Sherburne. Joseph Bucks, 1761. Where to begin here? I should have done some research and got a map. I haven't come across any names that I'm too familiar with yet. There's another winged skull here. Daniel Sharp. Mary Perkins. Isaac and Mary Perkins. Hard to read. 1898? 1814, maybe 1798? can see in the distance the Revere Bridge, I think is what it's called, over by the Charleston Navy Yard, and the USS Constitution is parked over there, but you can't really see it from here. Elizabeth Hughes has an interesting winged skull here. Here lies the body of John L-A-P-E 1690. Holding up pretty well for 1690. Again, the winged skull at the top. These are some rough ones. Something about it looks like 1471 on there. Something about that Thomas Lake. Maybe somebody can look that one up. Can't be 1471. But very primitive looking skull, winged skull on that one. Be careful, there's some small ones I could easily trip over. Again, with the lichen, here lies the body of Captain something, William something. Impossible. William Campbell, I guess. Again, these would take some research because the stones are just not too clear. See the lichen here, 1718. There's a nice winged skull. Here lies the body of Mrs. Rebecca Rouse, age 28, 1742. A great aesthetic overall in here. Of just ancient stones, ancient looking anyway. They're exposed up here. This is on a hill, so they're weathered. Erected to the memory Josephine Patience, 1779. Let's see what they have to say. African Americans at Copp's Hill. Prince Hall, important member of Boston's African American community, time of the Revolution. Freed from slavery, 1769, he assumed leadership role in the African American community, directing petitions for the abolition of slavery, 1777. Protest of slave trade, 1788. Guy had it going on. Mary Hammond Augustus, 1757. So there's Prince Hall over here. Looks like he's got some Masonic symbols on his stone. Though it may not be. It's definitely unusual, kind of the eye in the pyramid thing. And you can see Sons of the American Revolution put a flag here. I'm not sure what the little bowls are about. Obviously there's some tradition going on here that I don't know about. Here's a great looking skull and crossbone over here. Daniel Malcolm. This is well worn over here. People are visiting this one because it's cool looking. 1769, a true son of liberty, a friend of the public, an enemy to oppression, and one of the foremost in opposing the revenue acts on America. So again, these kind of Tea Party people. Here lies buried the body of Mr. Michael Malcolm. Nice clear one, 1775. Beautiful little set there. And we got some stones against the wall here. I guess they've lost track of where the grave is, or I don't know what the reason is, but we got another Tea Party member here in maybe Nathaniel Barber. Robert Newman, another Mason, 1804. And I'm coming up here to see what this sign has to say. Copp's Hill in the American Revolution. Robert Newman, 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. Is that right? The commemorative marker along the Snow Hill street fence suggests that Robert Newman, breeches maker and sexton of he made pants, sexton of Christ Church, is buried in Tomb 41. Newman, who at the age of 23 hung the lanterns in the Christ Church steeple as a signal to Paul Revere and others. I see, the guy who put the lanterns in, 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. Interesting. Captain Daniel Malcolm. Legend states that the holes in Malcolm's stone are from British soldiers at the Copp's Hill Battery conducting target practice against the true son of liberty. Born in Maine, moved to Boston in 1750, mariner, merchant, smuggler, one of the most vigorous opponents of the British Revenue Acts. I don't know if I noticed the holes in the stone. There's a nice one here. Let me just... Robert Newman, Captain Robert Newman. Hard to read on the bottom there. Though it could be done. Though Neptune's waves and B-O-R-E-D-S, blast. Yeah, it's getting a little tough. 1806. There's another great looking skull on the top. 1749 stone. Nice. Great stuff. Let's see what we got here in the round. Got another information panel to read. Gravestone art, skulls, wings, and other symbols. I don't know how well you can see that on the camera. Getting a bit of a bright angle here. Skill of the carver, placed before 1825. Winged skull and death's head is the most common carving. That's true, we've seen a bunch of them, 80%. Death mortality has been used since the medieval period. Prevalence of the winged skull type symbols reflect the early date of the graveyard and Puritan religious influence. Winged face or cherub, I can't say I've seen too many of those. Common symbol, urn and willow. After the Revolution became popular, classical symbol associated with death and the weeping willow indicates mourning and sorrow. That seems obvious enough. Heraldic designs. While they may have rejected the winged face, they enthusiastically embraced the coat of arms. And then it talks about some stone cutters. Phoebe Lane. Elizabeth Thernald. Early 1800s over here. A bit close. Plenty of winged skulls here. Captain Sansom Waters. 1698. Let's see what this other informational has. I think this was only 2 I haven't seen yet. Welcome. So let's just see. Mumford, Phillips, Seaman's Tomb, Hutchinson, Lewis, Dupee, Mather Tomb. Okay, I missed the Mather Tomb. That might be some of the most well-known. Let's just see here. Second oldest cemetery in Boston in 1659. One town officials, blah, blah, blah. King's Chapel. 1711 expanded. Okay, just a history of the evolution of this. On the 20th, in the far right corner to go see the Mathers. Lakeberry, Phillips, D&T Copp, oldest stone. I guess that's why they call it Copp's Hill, the family, Copp's family, yeah. That's probably what it's saying on the right here. 1630, when John Winthrop's fleet arrived in Boston Harbor, 3 high hills dominated. Boston Town, Fort Hill in the south end, town near Rose Wharf, now Beacon Hill. Okay. Copp's Hill named after William Copp and his family. Sorry. Go see this other information all over here. It's a nice winged skull here. Joseph Clander. What does this one have to say here? Something about a lighthouse tragedy. All right. Let's go see where I think it was telling me the Mather family tomb is. So the Cotton Mather. I don't know who the other Mathers are, but these are well-known Puritan ministers. Maybe Joseph Mather? I'm not sure. Maybe we'll see something here. Here we go. That's not Marshall Mathers, that's for sure. Several generations of great 17th and 18th century New England divines are buried here. Increase, that's right, Increase Mather, 1639 to 1723, the father. Cotton, 1663 to 1728, the son. And Samuel, 1706 to 85, grandson. Belonged to a remarkable family of ministers at a time when the church wielded its own power and religious zeal translated into political influence. The Mathers' ecclesiastical attainments assured them secular authority. Increase was the sixth son of Richard, who was first of the Mather dynasty and a minister in Dorchester. Increase graduated from Harvard in 1656 and within a decade began a 60-year ministry to the Second Church of Boston. Later, he was named president of Harvard. As a powerful statesman, Increase represented Massachusetts at the British court and tried to secure a new beneficial charter for the colony in the 1690s. The effort and his role, personal advisor to the new royal governor, Sir William Phipps, attracted such resentment that he was forced to resign as Harvard president and lose his political power. Increase spent his last days in the North End, where he had lived much of his life and raised 10 children. Let's look at the top of this thing. Samuel Parker, Rebecca Eaton. Not really sure where this family tomb is, but could be this even. Don't know. I guess that was it, but for some reason it doesn't have their names on the top. It has somebody else. I was getting harried by a family who just had to get in there and take pictures while I was reading. Can't read this, whatever it is, too much. So yeah, fantastic little spot. Here lies the body of Mehetabel Scarlett, wife to Humphrey Scarlett, 1733. Impressive stone. So you can get a sense of the environs here. Nice green lawn, bright sun. And maybe you can see downtown on the horizon and get some tall buildings out there, but it's a bit in the sun. So I hope you enjoyed that little tour of Copp's Hill Burying Ground and all the cool stones here. Nice strong one there, John Farnham. William Barber. James Bill, age 73, 1687. That may be the oldest one I've seen. And he would have been born in the 1614 or something. That's an old one. So definitely born in England. marker. Here, let's just check this out. Unusual gravestones. Wanderer down the path. Now, that's not.
So,
A little crowded.
oh God, 20 years.
I know, me too.
I wouldn't step foot in. The only place I stepped foot in.
Now we're back on the Freedom Trail out here on the street, headed towards the Old North Church. I decided I'm going to hit a bakery on the way out here. I came all this way, I might as well get some pastry out of it. There's some pizza slices. Cannoli's the big thing around here, but I'm not a big fan of cannoli. It's okay, but too much cream for my taste. Yeah, they're awesome. Nice crunch. The cream is delicious, but too much. I can only eat one, and that's with a cup of coffee. Maybe, who knows, by now they probably have all different kinds. Maybe they have some that have like half as much cream. I think I would prefer that. A little more pastry to cream ratio. But they have great flavors here too, pistachio and all kinds of stuff. Of course, the goddamn leaf blowers are out, which I detest. This should be part of the National Park Service. This is the Freedom Trail. If you look down, you can see on the ground the brick stripe. Some cool old buildings here. They've got a big thing about Paul Revere on the top. Oh, they want $5 to walk in here. How about that? So much for the national park. See that Paul Revere plaque? It says, "The signal lanterns of Paul Revere displayed in the steeple of this church, April 1775, warned the country of the march of the British troops to Lexington and Concord." So they say. I can't believe they're charging $5 just to walk in the courtyard. That's ridiculous. Just so you get a sense of what it looks like around here, how cool it is. Just well-preserved old brick architecture. And each street is more intriguing than the last. Of course, Paul Revere's house is down here, which of course has been highly restored, but it's an old, early 1700s, I think, wooden house. Get a sense of the alleyways down here and the fire escapes. It's like old New York, like the tenements. Here we get a better look too at the Old North Church. And you can see the full steeple now in the sun. And why that would have been a thing back in the day when there was no high-rises. Putting some lanterns up there would have been fairly visible from a far distance. They're claiming, of course, that this was like a series of lanterns, like fire signals or something, all the way from Concord, which is many miles to the west. It's got to be like 10 or 12 miles to the west. So I'm a little skeptical. There's a bit of mythology going on here. See a lot of these nice copper awnings and protrusions. I'm not sure what they're called, but you can see them on those buildings there. And they get a nice green patina on them. That's some cool fire escape balconies right there. And again, the north steeple. This is Salem Street. Bova's Bakery in front of me. Classic old Italian bakery. This is a very desirable neighborhood now, so you get renovation. I think I'm going to go here to Parziale's Bakery. This looks a little more neighborhood, old world, a little less touristy. Bread, pizza, cookies. Let's see what they got in there. It looks pretty cool.